The household cavalry has dual roles. 250 horses and men serve as ceremonial bodyguard to the Queen. At the same time, the other half of the regiment is ready to go to war. This time on the Queen's Cavalry, behind the scenes at the biggest parade of the year.
Carry a sword, young man.
The Queen's birthday celebrations, trooping the colour. The colonel of the Queen's official bodyguard is close to home.
They wouldn't regard me necessarily as a very good close protection officer, except for I've lived with it for a long time.
And the honeymoon is definitely over for the 12 new recruits learning to ride.
When I ask you a question, I want an answer. If you've got a problem, you knock on my door and we sort it out. Don't stand out here shaking your head like a little girl.
One week before the Queen's birthday celebrations, and preparation begins in earnest, but it's not just for the men. The 176 horses who will be on parade are put through some vital, if unorthodox, training. The officer taking the exercise is Squadron Leader Major Andrew Fox-Pitt.
This morning we're rehearsing. I'm trying to get the horses used to the crowds. The idea is to put more pressure on now, so therefore when they go out in the parade, actually they think, oh God, this is just another bunch of guys dressed up, clapping and banging their drums. Probably the worst thing out of all of it is clapping, ironically. For some reason it unsettles the horses. Cheering, everything else they can get away with, but the clapping for some reason sets them going. You see Warlord here with Alex James on. Yeah, good horse.
It's all designed to highlight problems with the most nervous horses and riders.
That doesn't bode very well, does it? Cool, Major. What they're not, I've seen a lot of guys kicking.
Kicking?
Yeah. Doesn't work.
What, as they can, what, at these guys?
Yeah,
the
no.
horses? They're backing off, you mean?
Yeah, the guys are kicking rather than squeezing. Right? Get them just to clamp them rather than they're giving it a good welly, which then sparks the horses up.
The test also gives the hecklers a chance to settle some old scores.
He's obviously trying to wind up the farrier there. They've had a falling out and fell last night in the bar or something.
Eventually, everyone starts to calm down.
They seem to be chilling out a bit more, and the guys seem to be relaxing a bit. Always end on a good note, as they say.
In Windsor, the new recruits are also under intense scrutiny, but for nothing quite as illustrious as the Queen's birthday. In a week's time, they must pass the first phase of riding school. So far, they've learned how to get on.
Wait, come on, man, not all day.
Get off.
Sit up! Let go, you bloody right!
And get stuck in with the polish.
You can never have too much polish on.
It's their last inspection before they leave Windsor for Knightsbridge. Not much escapes the eagle eyes of Lance Corporals of Horse Lee Golder and Mark Jaworski.
Pressure's on now, so they don't want to impress me today or there'll be a bit of trouble.
One trooper who's feeling the pressure and isn't impressing Jaworski is Adrian Van Loon.
Don't interrupt me or I'll lock you up now. When I ask you a question, I want an answer. I don't want head shaking, bottom lip hitting the floor, all the rest of it. Do you understand me?
Yes, Corporal.
Right then. Simple, yes, no. If you feel ill, you tell me in the morning. If you've got a problem, you knock on my door and we sort it out. Don't stand out here shaking your head like a little girl. Start being a man, you little tit. Understand?
Yes, Corporal.
He's struggling within the ride because you've got to be quite a close team. And he's sort of segregating him. It's not the ride segregating him. He's sort of segregating himself because of he can't pick himself up and keep at the same level as his peers. Yeah, the problem yesterday with his attitude. He's getting it from all angles at the moment. So I think it's building up on him. He's having drama with his kit. But we'll get there.
We'll just keep
It's just the attitude. Watch him today in the school, because he does, like you said, he takes out his horse. You've seen that before.
Yeah, he does.
If he loses his rag or backtracks who wants in there today, hoy him out. Just kick him straight out and I'll get in the front of the feet.
All right. Yeah, cheers, mate.
Although 18-year-old Van Loon is enjoying the riding, he's constantly in trouble over his kit. There's a simple reason why he's not coping well.
My family lives in the eastern part of Holland, and they live like 40 miles away from each other. So when I go over, I only have little amounts of time. So when I go to my mum, I only have like a day with my mum, and I need to travel half a day.
Hopefully he'll open up later, tell me what's happening at home, and then maybe I can help him out.
This is the first time I've ever gone out of anywhere just to live on my own. That's why it's a bit strange for me. Not in good a state with the corporals.
Having problems?
Yes, Corp.
Well, why don't you speak to Corporal Jaworski? Don't bottle it up. You got a problem, speak to people. That's what we're here for.
You got to be like Dad sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, give him all a big cuddle and a cup of tea.
There's just days to go before the Queen's birthday parade. The man in charge of all things equine is Riding Master Captain Dickie Waygood. The son of a gamekeeper, he joined the regiment 26 years ago and has spent 25 of them on ceremonial duty.
A large part of the job that I have is advising really maybe the commanding officer at times, or the squadron leaders, the second in commands, on really sort of horse policy and horsemanship throughout the regiment.
With over 170 horses on parade, it's a hugely complicated exercise. The troopers must be thoroughly prepared.
Once the boys go out the gate on parade, it's over to them.
Today they hold a full dress rehearsal. Keeping an eye on every hoof is Dickie's main job.
This is really hard parade because most of it's in walk, and then when we get down onto Whitehall, we actually stand still for about 55 minutes without moving. So for the horses to stand still for sort of 55 minutes and then suddenly to move off and be expected to work in a tight formations, it was quite a tall order.
On the day, there'll be a long wait for the Queen to emerge from Buckingham Palace.
The hardest thing is for the young horses to stand still for so long. I suppose really like young children, they just get a bit fidgety and want to get on with the job.
Put your hand right forward.
That's what we're down here for. We just make sure everybody's steady on parade. If there's any small problems, curb chain missing, coming undone, or horse fidgeting about, as we've just seen, then we just quietly go in and sort those problems out. Very different. I mean, you're dealing with a living animal this morning, and they react differently on different days to different circumstances. And if you listen now, a good parade is a quiet parade. And if you just listen now really carefully, all you can hear is just the odd bright chain just chinking. But there's over 100 horses stood here, and you can hardly hear a hoof moving, or hardly hear a jangle of any piece of equipment. So yeah, it's quite remarkable, really.
Although the rehearsal may have been a success, days of polishing lie ahead. In the Windsor Riding School, the second-in-commands of the two squadrons have arrived to check on their newest recruits. Giving them the once-over are Captain James Howell of the Life Guards and his counterpart in the Blues and Royals, Captain Rob Gibbs. Only 2 months into regimental life, and Trooper Glenn Forrest's reputation is already preceding him.
He's a big lad.
Watch this. I remember doing that.
God, Forrest!
Oh! That is... I'd say that's even worse than me.
Oh my word!
No? What do you mean no? He looks quite. He doesn't look like he's got any strength in his legs.
It's their first chance to grill the newcomers.
Are you a kit monster?
I'll try my best.
Do you take pride in cleaning your kit? Is Betsy a lifeguard or a blue and royal horse?
Blue and royal from 2 Troops, sir.
Well, what colour is that blue and royal cap badge?
Stay right, sir.
How's Viscount?
He's a good horse, sir.
I had Viscount in training as well.
Surprisingly, one trooper seems to stand out from the rest.
What position do I hold in Knightsbridge?
2IC, sir.
Of
the Lifeguards, sir.
Which is the senior regiment?
The Lifeguards, sir.
Well done. And you are?
I'm a Lifeguard, sir.
Well done, you.
Van Loon's birthplace in Holland works in his favour.
Born in Arnhem, sir. Even better. And why is that important to a lifeguard?
Because that was where the Lifeguards were established, sir.
You are a star and you are going to go far. I can see it. Well done. Okay, good.
Since most of these troopers think they've joined to fight for country, James is keen to make it clear ceremonial duty is as important as battlefield training.
Okay, fine. Gentlemen, it is a short period of time that you are at Knightsbridge, okay? It is bloody hard work, but it will pay dividends at the end of the day. And as I've said, most NCOs would suggest to you that you do this first, okay? Now, when you are in the depth of despair, cleaning your jackboots for the nth time, and you're thinking, well, you know, I'd really rather be on Salisbury Plain living in a hole, wet, soaked through, and eating my biscuits brown, or whatever, that time will come, okay? If you particularly express an interest in wanting to be a donkey walloper the entire time, then probably the route for you to be, if you're good enough, is to go down the Blue Mafia route and become a riding instructor.
For James, so far so good.
I have to say I'm quite impressed, to be honest with you. A lot of these guys are doing some nice, smooth transitions here, and it is looking fairly tidy. Certainly an awful lot tidier than I was when I was at this stage in their riding. So, no, it's good.
But Adrian Van Loon is about to revert to previous form.
Sit up. Okay, sit back up then. Van Loon canter on until the corner.
He then lets the side down further, right in front of his future officers.
Stop pulling on the outside rein. You need to give and take with the inside rein. That leg stays there on the girth. Your outside leg goes back behind the girth. You cannot expect your horse to canter left if you keep pulling it to the outside. You're telling it to canter right.
Later, musician Alex Miller tries to raise riding school morale. And Van Loon has got some welcome news.
I talked to the corporal about it and he's sorting me out some leave so I can get back home because I've not been home for 3 months.
Yet he knows the corporal's help comes at a price.
They're all really sympathetic in a way, but they see it, there's a dark side to it because that means I have to work harder when I come back.
Knightsbridge Barracks, and it's the day before the Queen's birthday parade. It's not just new recruits who must master their horses. Officers are expected to ride better than the men. This morning they get a special drilling by the riding master.
Before every big parade, we have about 2 weeks of officers' rides, and they're to prepare the officers for the parades, just to tune the horses up and make sure that the chargers are working up to speed. The officers come through the normal riding school system, the same as the soldiers do, 14 weeks and 4 weeks in the kit ride afterwards. And really, they need to be able to ride well enough for the riding to be almost second nature, so they can concentrate on the mechanics of the parade.
And looking through the peaks of your helmet. Come on, Sid, get your legs into it. Forward. That's it. Gents, it's no good on parade being passive when something's going wrong. You've got to show a little bit of gust, a little bit of vigour and get on with it.
I mean, I've ridden as a escort commander, and you are under pressure. You've got a lot of words of command to remember, and not only do you have to ride your horse, not only are you very conscious that, you know, everybody's looking at you, but you've got to make sure that your words of command are absolutely spot on.
During trooping of the colour, the field officer, Major Andrew Fox-Pitt, will issue over 50 commands to the regiment. He also has to know all the orders for the bands and the foot guards. This morning, he gets up to speed with a quick recap of last year's parade.
Almost every state visit, the foot guards sort of make their own words of command up, which always puts us out of sync. the thing is, you have to learn your words of command are very easy. It's learning the field officers as well and the bands, especially when they're not written on the bit of paper.
After 14 weeks at Windsor and a trip home to Holland for Van Loon, the new recruits have finally arrived in London to start their lives as cavalrymen.
Ever since we've come to Knightsbridge, the horses have been different. There's been a lot more pressure because there's a lot more eyes on us, and even the riding staff feel it.
They're quite late on in the ride now. Things are getting hard. They're putting a lot of hours in. It's hard work in the yard during the day. Then in the end of the day, when everyone else sort of knocks off, they've got to crack on and push on, do the kit through the evening. A lot of them didn't finish till the early hours of the morning. And in yourself, you might think the kit's good enough, and then you just get ripped to bits on an inspection. It's quite soul destroying at times. But they're a strong ride, so I'm sure they'll pull themselves out the hole, and we'll get there.
First up is an inspection from the riding master.
Pre-fast off is the worst because the riding master's the one you have to impress. It's not really the colonel with the kit, it's more the riding master because he judges you on your riding. And if your ride's not up to scratch, you just have to go back.
Good morning, sir. 13 members of NORC.
If they fail this, they could be backridden, demoted from the ride and forced to repeat the training.
Yeah. Trooper Baker riding Zanzibar, sir!
Where do you come from?
London, sir.
London. Do you expect to be riding horses in the middle of London?
No, sir.
No? Enjoying it?
Yes, sir.
But Dickie isn't here to pass the time of day.
Right, collar on shirt, dirty, yeah. Epaulets tucked up underneath your collar. Screws again, need cleaning. Dust underneath saddle. Both nosebands are not good enough.
Trooper Hookham riding Apocalypse, sir!
Where do you come from, young man?
Christchurch, New Zealand, sir.
Oh, well done, good. You enjoying the trip?
Sir.
Right, come to me.
Sir.
See that there? Yeah.
Seen, sir.
Yeah,
Even Kiwi, one of the more experienced soldiers, is getting fed up with the constant kit cleaning.
It's just the kit side of it that's really starting to piss us off. I mean, we can get it done, but I mean, there's a few of us who don't get away till 3:30 in the morning. And, you know, it's just one of those things. Some of the guys can nip their kit quite quickly.
Right, your breeches.
If Kiwi is struggling, Van Loon doesn't stand a chance under Dickie's scrutiny.
The back brass on your peninsula brass on your breastplate is not being cleaned. Brass underneath the on your V-shaped attachment is not particularly clean.
He ripped me apart. The inspection, he tore me apart. He saw one little bit and then he just digged for all the little bits that I didn't do.
Brasses on your saddle are not clean enough. The leatherwork on the fans are not clean. Your girth is too loose. The definition is not good enough. And you, young man, are not up to the standard required. Why?
I don't know, sir. Even though it's not the best kit you've ever done, you still stayed up till like 12 o'clock at night and still put efforts into it, and then being seen just ripped apart.
You should have been able to clean 3 kits by 12 o'clock. This is clearly not finished off well enough. You're not up to the standard required. You're show behind the night guard tonight. I'll see you again tomorrow morning. If you're not good enough then, young man, you'll be back ridden. Do you understand?
Yes, sir!
Thank you.
And then you're trying to hide it in the stand out. It's alright, I can take it. But he went all over and just disappointing, very disappointing. And then he just went, that's it, we're calling it a date. And he just thought, let's go.
Right, I'll tell you now.
Dickie's had enough. It's not only the troopers who face his disapproval.
If it was the odd one, then I would have bagged them and put behind the night guard. But however, there's too many of them with the same points that should be nipped in the bud. Get those points sorted, gents.
Sure. Right, sir.
Thanks very much.
Up.
It's the morning of the Queen's official birthday. As London prepares for trooping the colour, security of the royal family is and always has been paramount. The honorary colonel of the Blues and Royals is the Princess Royal. As such, she holds the title of Gold Stick, a military appointment held by a senior officer of the Household Cavalry since 1678.
Well, the Gold Stick, I think, in modern parlance, was the original close protection officer. They were the last lines of protection for the monarch. They were the people in waiting who stuck with the monarch, literally from when they got up to when they went to bed. And the troops that were with them were also the last line of defence. I mean, they were very much to defend the monarch's personage and the consort's personage. But it was literally, in theory, the last line of defence, the most trustworthy of the individuals around the monarch. You could argue that the close protection officer is still relevant. They have different ways of doing it, and I suspect they wouldn't regard me necessarily as a very good close protection officer, except for I've lived with it for a long time.
All the officers are fitted with radios, which link into a central police command.
That's my call sign in position, over. Hello, 0, this is 93.
With the ever, I suppose, growing security threat, we're probably the closest people on hand should things go wrong. Although we never replace the police, we actually work with them, and as they keep on saying, they have primacy. But we actually are there for if there's any cordons or anything else that needs to be done if anything goes wrong.
Something did go wrong in June 1981 when a teenager fired a starting pistol at the Queen. Police rushed to apprehend the man. No real bullets were fired, but from then on security was totally reviewed, and ever since, radios worn.
Hello, 0, this is Escort Commander, radio check over.
Hello, 0, this is 96, in rotation now, over.
Good to go?
You happy with that, sir?
That's fine, yeah. Excellent, thank you very much.
There's just 15 minutes to the start of the parade. Last-minute adjustments are made, uniforms straightened, horses mounted. Second in command of the lifeguards, James Howell, is not happy with his helmet.
It has several place settings on it, and if you don't get it in exactly the right place for you, the chin strap then ends up either riding up or riding down. So as I'm giving words of command, it will ride up into my mouth so that everything will become, well, like that, muffled, which then defeats the volume and it just sounds awful. So, or if it's far too long, it will come down here and start to creep to Blues and Royals territory, of which is the lifeguard, that will be a heinous crime. Yeah, that's better. That's the right place.
176 cavalrymen ride out from Knightsbridge Barracks.
They look good. Regiment turned out really well this morning. Everyone was in good nick. And it's a good day for a parade. It's not too hot. Slight breeze.
What the crowds are oblivious to are the radio updates passing between the officers.
Hello, 0, field officer, a Household Cavalry, and now mobile on South Church Drive. Over. Roger, out. Time will be 1000 in 30 seconds. Out.
The Queen's Birthday Parade is the biggest parade of the season. In 1748, the celebration of the official birthday of the sovereign was amalgamated with the trooping of the colour, a tradition going back to the days when the colours, or regimental flag of the regiment, was trooped in front of the soldiers to make sure everyone could recognise their flag in battle. The colours are trooped in front of the Queen, who watches all the proceedings with an expert eye.
She's seen more of these than anybody. And she's got a very sharp eye, and she really knows what she's looking for and if things are done professionally or not. Been here for 20 minutes now, so...
Carry your sword, young man. Wake up.
We've got to strive for excellence all the time. And in sport and in sport and what we do in war, there's no compromise. If you compromise, it's second best, and you come second. I've got a few years left, and getting towards the end of your time, you start to sort of pine for it more and more, and you actually realise what you're going to have to let go of eventually.
Today's proceedings gets the Royal Seal of Approval.
I think that's one of the best parades I've seen in a long time. It all seemed to go really well.
You know, get the small things right and the big picture look after itself. So overall, horses were steady. Everybody's going to go home safely. Good parade.
At the other end of the scale, the new recruits still have a very long way to go before they reach the required level of excellence. The following day, they face the riding master's next inspection.
Just watch now the leading file.
But he's immediately underwhelmed.
Look over your shoulder, and you're leaving the rear of the ride behind.
The sixth file looks like he's got a monkey on his back in his ear.
Trooper Forrest, sir.
Forrest, draw your shoulders back. That's it. Now look at me, Forrest. You sat like this. Just relax.
From start, that we were just all in crap order, going around as dressings and stuff like that. And when Metcalf did it weren't Metcalf's fault, I'm not blaming him at all.
Just went tits up, big stall. Tits up, big stall.
Come on, let's do that again, gentlemen. Slow yourselves down. Go forward the second file. Go forward. Stop putting his teeth out. Now look up, gentlemen.
Far too many of them. There's not a change lace ball made.
Ride! Halt! Still. Gentlemen, just quiet yourselves down. Let's start riding with a little bit of confidence. Quietly trot. Then when you go back into canter, don't overreact. At the moment, you're rough riding. Let's see it again, Court Golder on each rein. Keep your distances. When you're asked to go forward into canter, sit up. Sit up. Straighten your back out. And then the horse will trot for you. Sit up. Get on the inside track.
Right, Corps Major, I'm not happy with this. This is not good at all. I know when I come out here that I put them under a bit of pressure. And if they can't cope with this now, there's no way that they're going to cope when they're bouncing up and down the mall. And they've got the crowds cheering and they've got the horses that are on edge.
Court Golder, you present your ride when they're ready.
You wouldn't want them going in front of the commanding officer riding the way they were just there. So we'll have a look at them again tomorrow and we'll take it from there.
That's just sod's law. They cracked under the pressure. The lads are probably really fed up at the moment that they've got to re-show again because they know that they've let themselves down. Court Golder will feel extremely let down. He knows that he's produced some good lads. So yeah, he's more fed up more than anyone, I'd say.
He did dig today, but again, that's his job. He's got to put the pressure on every day, and a bit more pressure gets added.
Some are becoming unsure whether they'll last the course.
I'm actually beyond caring, because I don't mind if I go home or stay here.
Getting past the riding master remains their greatest challenge. Next time on the Queen's Cavalry, we discover if the trainees can make the grade. Gunners of the Armoured Regiment go to school.
Target left! No, it wasn't target!
And the cavalry looks back to the cold steel of Waterloo.